Good afternoon. My name is Flora Narcobi, and I'm a member of the TIFF Next Wave Committee, the team that programs this incredible festival for you all. On behalf of the TIFF Next Wave Film Festival, I'd like to welcome you today to our screening of Slut in a Good Way, directed by Sophie Lorain. To begin, we would like to acknowledge that tonight's event is taking place on the treaty territory of the Mississaugas of the New Credit and the traditional territory of the Haudenosaunee, Anishinaabe, and the Huron-Wendat. We are grateful to have this opportunity to work and gather on this land. Thank you to our lead sponsor, Bell, and to our major sponsors, RBC, L'Oreal Paris, and Visa. Thanks also to our major public supporters, the City of Toronto, the Ontario Arts Council, and for their ongoing support. The TIFF Next Wave Committee is supported by the Slate Family Foundation Learning Fund. And of course, thank you to our members and donors for their generous contributions to TIFF and to those who support TIFF's learning programs year-round. We would also like to thank Le Film Civis distributor for providing us with this film. If you're wondering how to get up on the stage too, TIFF is already recruiting new members for the 2019-2020 TIFF Next Wave Committee, a group of 12 high school students like me who love film and who plan events like this festival and get to tag films in the September festival too. Applications are due in May and are available online at tiff.net/nextwave. Thank you for spending your time with us. I am so excited to introduce this film to you today because of its underlying commentary on the existing societal views of a woman's body. The journey of how a badass main character reconstructed her own sexuality is inspirational and also speaks volumes to how different films can be when females are given the platform to tell their stories. Finally, we're so lucky to have the director of Slut in a Good Way here with us. She will be back after the film for a Q&A, but first, please join me in welcoming to the stage to say a few words, Sophie Lorain.
Thank you, Flora. Thank you very much for having me. First of all, please, I'm very much fluent in French than in English, but bear with me because I think we shall be able to have a nice conversation, even though. Slut in a Good Way is a coming-of-age movie, but slightly different. I hope still that you'll enjoy it. It's about claiming one's freedom, and I'm talking expressively for young women. It's light. It's a light comedy, and it's in black and white, but don't be afraid, it won't bite. Please enjoy yourself, and I will talk to you after the film. Thank you.
Hey y'all, thank you for sticking around. My name's NARA. I'm from the Next Wave Committee. So we're gonna do a quick Q&A now with the director of Slut in a Good Way, Sophie Lorain. But before she comes out, this is just how it's gonna go. Raise your hand, I'll pick you, we'll get you a mic, ask your question, and we'll move on. We'll try and fit in as many questions as we can. We have about 20 minutes. So yeah, I'd like to invite out to the stage now, Sophie Lorain. Thank you so much for sharing this film with us.
Well, thanks for having me.
All right, just to kick it off, I have one question. You mentioned this earlier before the screening started. It's shot in black and white. Where did that decision come from?
Oh, several reasons. Budget-wise, no. No, the main reason is that I wanted this story to be, I wanted this film to be like a little, a fable, une histoire, a little, you know, but with poetry in it. I didn't want it to be in any way vulgar or ugly. The main reason for that was that shooting most of the film in a toy store, you've probably been in a Toys R Us once in your life. It's an orgy of colors. It's really ugly. And to have these, cinematography-wise, it's even worse. And to have these three girls standing in a store like that, the feeling of the movie, the dialogues, because the dialogues, I don't know how it comes out in English, but in French, it's really punchy, it's really nice. And to have these girls lost in the store like that, you would have been concentrating on the colors and the brands and the branding of everything, and none the dialogue would have come out, and they would have been totally lost. And also, we didn't have that much money as far as the artistic direction was concerned, so we had to keep it simple. And I wanted the movie to be like also, like I said, to have a bit of poetry in it, to have to feel like a fable, to be like a little jewel box, you know, where you put a little diamond, you know, something nice and fluffy, not vulgar, because the subject was touchy enough. Having these young girls smoking dope, drinking booze, and having sex and talking about it for 90 minutes was enough already. And I wanted them to be, you know, to look good and the film to be beautiful.
That worked really well. Thank you. Does the audience have any questions?
Yes.
Yes, glasses and the white shirt.
Great film.
Thank you.
Love it. Are you happy with the translation that they made? Because I understood both, you know, the French and the English, obviously, because but I found the French much funnier than the English.
Well, yeah, it's the film has been subtitled. There are new subtitles that were added from this copy on a new copy, because the film has just been sold in the States. It'll be out in theaters in the States at the end of March.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks very much. You should be proud because it's all your money. No, but it's your culture that's traveling as well, which is quite, you know, it's kind of nice. Not that many Canadian films get to go to New York and Los Angeles and anywhere in between. So the subtitles have been redone, and the fantastic idea behind it is that although the film is in black and white now, the subtitles will be in color. And they're really bright and bold color, and it works like hell. And it's been all redone, so it's much more effective. Yeah.
Great. Another question? Yes, in the front.
First of all, j'aime le film beaucoup.
Merci. C'est très gentil.
It was really good, and I noticed the chemistry between the actors was really good. So how do you came up with all those actors and like the choosing process to make it work?
That was a tough call, actually, because you know, in the States where there's a bigger market for actors, it's easier to cast for those kinds of pictures, because usually you take actors that are 21 or 25 and you make them play 16. You can find really young looking actors, but I wanted these actresses to have the same age as their characters. So actually the lead of the film, Marguerite Bouchard, was not even 17 when she played in the film. She was 16. And it was a bit of a tough call for her because of all the dialogues and because of the scenes, the love scenes that she had to do with all the different boys. And it was hard for me to explain that, you know, we're not going to see anything, Marguerite. We're just going to use little, you know, bits and pieces of it. And we're going to mix it up with some songs of Maria Callas. She didn't have a clue what I was going to what I was going to do. But, you know, I had worked with her before when she was 12 years old, actually. And so that made it a bit simple, but a little simpler. But the chemistry with the three girls came really when they went for the auditions, because I started auditioning my main lead. And then afterwards, the two other girls, Megan and Aube. And then I started doing threesomes because I wanted to see what, you know, the relationship was going to be like. And while I was auditioning some threesomes, I heard these girls laughing their heads off in the kitchen. And I thought, God, I hope they'll be as good in the kitchen as they are in front of the audience, in front of me. Because if they can put up with it, and if I feel that kind of chemistry in between them, then I'm in business. And then they came and they were really, really good together. So that's how I chose them, and I had worked with all of them before at least once in different projects, but you know, never the three of them together, and they're still friends. They're still very good friends.
All right, another question.
Yes, Mike is coming up.
Yeah, hi. I found the ending song to be very interesting. Could you maybe talk a little bit about how come Like,
well,
each
that's
was
not
that
how the
Christmas song?
film was supposed to finish originally. There was a very different ending. And the day we came to shoot that ending, it didn't work at all. It was a catastrophe. And I was looking at that and I was going, oh my God. I had a feeling, though, that it wouldn't work. So about 2 or 3 days before we actually went to shoot the end of the film, I said to the guy, to the whole cast, I've sent them the rights. We had the rights to this Bollywood Christmas for some reason. And I said, would you just, study the steps, listen to the music, have fun, because we might use this as the end of the film. And they just went, what are you going to do? I don't know, maybe a bit of Bollywood Christmas. And they went, Bollywood Christmas? And I said, well, we'll give it a try, And once we were there, we actually shot it, and that's the end we decided to use, because I thought it was, light, funny, and it didn't, it was just different.
It was wonderful. Yes, here in the front.
Hi, that was
Hi.
a beautiful film.
Merci.
I know you were saying that like you wanted to keep the 90 minutes, even though they were talking about sex and drugs and et cetera, to keep it very beautiful and light. So I was wondering, like, was it difficult to keep it from veering in the realms of vulgarity? And I was also wondering, with the abstinence for charity thing, was that kind of like a nod to like weaponizing your sexuality?
Well, there are a lot of questions in that little sentence. It was the film. It was a very tough film to get through the different institutions. Téléfilm Canada didn't want anything to do with it. The equivalent of the Ontario fundings, which is la SODEC in Quebec, didn't want to do anything with it. But I'm a tough caller in Montreal. So the writer of the film, Catherine Léger, whom I'd worked with before, couldn't get her film through the institutions and to get funding. So she called me because there was another director that was working on the film, and she left because she couldn't get any money. And Catherine called me and she said, "What do you think?" I said, "Well, first of all, we have to work a bit on the script. I wanted to. There were some adults originally in the film helping the kids to solve their problems, and I didn't want that. I wanted it to be a real teenager film with only teenagers, no adults, no judgment, no morals, no nothing, none of that. And also, maybe because I'm a woman, I don't know, I was afraid of the film being in any way vulgar. Some of the dialogue is, and I didn't want that to touch the girls. I wanted them to go all the way through the film with a smile on their face, and I wanted the audience to enjoy the film and to listen to the dialogues and to the message to go through, without any morals or judgments. I didn't want that. I wanted to have a light film. The film was light, and I didn't want it to become heavy or I don't know, with an aftertaste in the audiences. I didn't want that. So yes, it was a bit tough in certain, and the way about the abstinence is an old it's Lysistrata. It's an old Aristotle play, voilà, and that's where the author picked up her idea about that.
All right. Any other questions from the audience? Yes, in the back.
Bonjour, premièrement, c'était vraiment un très bon film, j'ai beaucoup aimé.
Merci, c'est gentil.
Alors, my question for you is, the song, like the prominent song, did that kind of come before, after, or was that in mind when you kind of created it?
You're talking about Maria Callas?
Mm-hmm.
No, that wasn't it. That was an idea of mine because in the film, the character of Aube, which is not the main character. Well, we have three girls there. There's Charlotte, bien évidemment, and then there's Aube, who reads 1984 by George Orwell, and there we have Megan, who is the little tough girl who knows about all the communisms and all that comes with it. And I wanted the girls to have you know, they talk about sex all the time. They're in love, they're in lust, they're in passion, they're, you know, in all that kind of feeling. But I wanted them to have something a little more profound. And because Charlotte is having a peine d'amour, or her heart is broken, she's listening to sad music, and what she's discovering is something about Maria Callas, which she doesn't even know the family name of Maria Callas, but who's going to stick with her for the rest of her life, and is going to give her a little cultural background. And also what the song says, Maria Callas says, is that love is a bird that you can't catch. You know, it always flies away. And she was singing that 50 years ago. Bizet wrote it, you know, more than 100 years ago, I think. So, you know, the message goes on and on and on, and it's not that important. The importance is that you claim your freedom and that you are who you should be, and not, you know, nothing of what happens there is of some importance as long as you're being, you know, honest with yourself and you are authentic. That's all there is to it. The message of love is that it's something no one can catch on forever and hold on to forever. That's why I thought it was important to put it in the film.
Merci beaucoup.
Merci.
Sorry. We have time for one more question. Is there another one in the audience? All right. Well, I have one.
Yes.
One of the most intriguing parts of the film to me was the sequence, I guess the sex montage with the hockey cut in between. Where did you get the idea to have the hockey game play out that montage?
That was also another weird call, because originally this old section was taking place a bit everywhere, and there was no montage, not in that way. And because we were in that toy store, the director of photography, Alexis Durand-Bro, at one point, and I looked at the store, and we thought, let's use the store for the montage. And what, you know, how could we find a metaphor to make the parallel between what she's done, what she's having sex, and he said, what about a hockey game? There's everything there. There's a whole little department, sport department, and I said, fine, that's a great idea. Let's use that with and we'll play it in. So that's why we decided to go for that.
Great. Thank you. Thank you all for staying. Thank you, Sophie, for letting us show your film. And thank you for answering questions.
Have a good festival.
Bye. Have a great day.